New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you wanna know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, and welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I am Robin Rice Olmsted.
I'm Dr. Natasha Wilson.
And we are here today to celebrate. That's what we're here to do. Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Not that we don't celebrate all the time, but today we are having a special show where we're celebrating. I titled this show Black Brilliance and Legacy, a Conscious Celebration. Because I really think we're celebrating Black History Month, but Black History Month is more than just a month. It's a frequency. It's an invitation. It's the foundation upon which our country was built, along with many other races and creeds and colors and all of those things. But it's a true celebration for me of this tapestry that we call America.
Yeah.
And you, my love?
Yeah, we don't have Black History Month here in Australia. We have something like it called NAIDOC. And one of the things that I've learned being connected to the indigenous culture here is that there is a long history of activists moving back and forth from indigenous people in Australia and African American people in the United States, sharing not just experiences, but also political ideas and ideologies around liberation and freedom. And so there's a long history here and a long connection between African Americans and indigenous Australians. And I don't think a lot of people know that. As a matter of fact, the family that I'm married into is indigenous, and actually some of them, like the grandfather was actually African American, because a lot of African Americans actually came over to Australia. So there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot we'll talk about. There's a lot we'll unpack. But before we do that, how was your week?
Yeah, my week. How was my week? It was a really busy week. We had my daughter had a lot of appointments. The school week is always full. I had to, this is the boring stuff, it's the stuff about life, that the mundane that is in its own ways a miracle. I do know how to drive on the left side of the road now. I just want to make that clear. However, my parallel parking leaves quite a bit to be desired. And as a result, I backed into something and screwed up the side of my very beautiful Polestar. So I had to drop it off yesterday, and I'm in a hire car, and the hire car is not electric. And I literally forgot how much I don't like to get out and pump gas.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I
And
know when we switched to electric car, I mean, first, I remember Gil wanting to switch to electric car, and I was like, no, hybrid. At least it should be hybrid because I need the option to get gas if I'm running out of gas. As a woman, I don't want to be down and uncharged. And he was like, just try, just try. And I was like, okay, fine, fine. And like once you get used to it and you plug your car in, I mean, it's just normal, right? To keep your car plugged in and keep things up to date. I cannot imagine like having to get gas. You know, I was in this whole conversation the other day with all these women talking about gas prices, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about that.
no, I don't. I charge my car to 80%, which is what is recommended
Yep,
by the manufacturer. So my car is charged at 80%. Some days I don't charge it because I don't always drive.
right.
Well, not as much now that it's hot, but yeah, I like the whole pulling in to get gas in. I'm like, really? Like, you know what I could be doing with these extra 20 minutes?
Right? It's like, how did I have time for this? And
How
and
did
and just for the general public that doesn't have an electric car, when we charge to 80% as well. I guess that's recommended by everybody. And 80% is still a couple hundred miles, you
no,
know?
yeah, it's like 360 kilometers, I think. So I don't know what that is in miles. My car shows in kilometers.
But what I'm saying is, if you're not driving here, there, and everywhere, you can drive your car at 30%, and you're still got 50 miles ish. You know, I mean, it's not like because it sounds bad. Oh, you're only at 30%. No, it's okay. It's really interesting, and
Yeah.
yeah, it is so much more relaxing to not have to do that.
And here's the thing. Everyone's like, well, what if you go on a road trip? Well, first of all, I don't really do road trips because I'm too old. I just want to get to where I want to go. When I was younger, I would hop in a car and could drive for
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I just want to get to where I want to go. And so people are like, oh, what if you go on a road trip? Well, I pack my charger. That's number one, right? I just put it in my car. And the other thing is, there are quick charging stations, so many places, but I have traveled out of Queensland and not needed to charge my car.
Hell yeah. 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 And I will say I have road tripped with the car. And yes, it is different. However, you don't realize how many charging stations there are until you have an electric car. They
Yeah.
are every
Where?
few blocks. And nowadays, especially if you're on a road trip, they're conveniently located so that you could go have lunch, be charging your car, and get in the car and go.
Yeah.
It's so not a thing. And I know when we go on a road trip, because Gil will map out where the chargers are just in case.
Mhm.
But it comes up on your car and it shows you, and it really is so much easier in so many ways.
Yeah,
And
it's a different it really creates a different like relationship to how you move through your day.
absolutely,
And yeah, and I hardly ever even use quick charging stations because, like I said, I'm never that far. I can always just go home and charge or
right.
go somewhere and charge. And the other thing that I've learned is that like when I was for a little while, I was working at a clinic that's kind of far away, about an hour away, and only one time. So I forgot to put my car on charge that night, and so I don't like my car dropping below 60%. That's just me. But anyways, I got to work and they just let me plug my car in while I worked and it was fine. It was just like, yeah, I don't know. It's
It's the norm now. I mean, it was really funny. A couple of years ago, I went to a friend's house. I was in LA, and I was driving. I was driving the electric car, and I went to his house and to pick him up for something we were doing. And he's like, we were going to take his car. He's like, "Oh, you want to just charge while you're at my house?" Like, I drove into his driveway, his garage, and he plugged me in. It's like, oh, you get a fill up at a friend's house. It's just funny. It's just the norm. So anyway, that is the update on the norm. So, do you have cards?
I do have cards. I have the Sufi Tarot.
Let's do it.
That's all. Those are the only ones I have.
That's perfect.
All right.
So it's time for our card pull of the week. Yay, card pull of the week.
A moment. Let me get out.
This is the section where we just let the card unfold and inform us about what's ours to do, what's showing up in our life, whatever the sign is for you. Us metaphysical folk like to look at all the signs.
All right. Well, I'll just
see what unfolds.
2 cards jumped out. So that's what we're going. Oh, 3 cards jumped out. Okay. All right now. Let me just see. I'm going to try to see what the theme is here. It's all, no, the one that jumped, let's just do the one that jumped out first. So the one that jumped out first is the 8 of Staffs, which would be the 8 of Wands. So give me a moment. I will say that the contemplation for this card is, what is the current rhythm of my life? How do I move through blockages before me? And the affirmation is, I move forward with ease and joy in perfect rhythm. So let me just read a little bit about the 8 of Staffs. I'll show you the card. Beautiful card. Really beautiful.
Nice.
And yes. And upright, which it came upright, it says speed, quick development, travel, leading through life lessons, and direct messages. The 8 of Staffs comes with a very clear message. Things are happening, and they are happening swiftly. The staff that shoots through the galaxies carry with them the fiery energy of comets and soar through the sky at breathtaking speeds. This is a card of movement, progress, and momentum, of taking stock of a situation. Sometimes it represents the mind moving as quickly as arrows flying through the air. When this card appears for you, know that this is the time to act, not to sit and contemplate. All about rapid movement forward. This card brings with it the message that any blockages that may have been in your path are now lifted. At the same time, you are being asked to examine the rhythm of your life. How can you balance such speediness with the slower, more deliberate manner of the mystic? The way of the Sufi is all about rhythm. Thus, the principle and practice of Nazar Bar Qalam, putting one's full breath and concentration into every step placed on the ground. As the Sufi and musician Hazrat Khan explained, as rhythm is innate in humans and maintains human health, so upon rhythm depend on all human affairs in life. Our success, our failure, our right acts, and our wrong acts are all connected, or in some way, one or the other, by a change of rhythm. And again, contemplation. What is the current rhythm in your life? How do you move through blockages? How do I move through blockages before me? And the affirmation, I move forward with ease and in perfect joy.
Well, that was a lot. That's a lot. I can't imagine 2 more cards. I mean, but I think because I think that card is so timely. I mean, I think that's what life feels like right now. That things
Mm,
are happening so quickly,
mm,
and that it's time to act, and that it's about balancing and all that you said. You know.
mhm,
All
mm.
right, what else you got? Why don't you just hit us with the beginning parts, like that contemplation and thing that you said on the other one?
Oh, okay. Wait. You want me to do the contemplation on the other card that came up?
Oh, were you going to tell us what the other cards were, or no? You were just
I
telling us
can.
now.
I wasn't going to. So
Okay.
it's the Malika of Swords, which I think is like the Queen of Swords, and then the Knight of Swords. So no, I think the card that popped on the top
Okay.
is the card to go with.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, I think that's a great card. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's what it means for me. I mean, things are happening quickly, and I think that what else comes up for me in that, is that it's not really time. It's not time to question it.
Mm,
And I mean, for me, I go because there's no real answers. There's no answers you can give me about what's going on in the world that is going to make me go, oh yeah, now I get it. That's cool. I'll hang there.
mm,
You know, and I think acting quickly to me just speaks to really staying present in so many ways, and you know whatever, doing what's mine to do, like
mm,
really just acting on it, as opposed to thinking, well, should I do this, should I do that, that
mhm,
kind of, like, not just going with what I know, which may be my first thought, if that makes
mhm.
sense, as opposed to pondering. That's what
Okay.
comes up for me.
Yeah.
How about
Hmm.
you?
Yeah. I just, it's so interesting because I started my week off by being slow on purpose with everything. I came to this realization at some point that, you know, when I still lived with my husband, I'm still legally married. Our mornings were they always felt so hectic and so rushed. And I remember always feeling like, does it have to be this way?
Yeah,
And
you talked about
and
that last week.
yeah, and so I did it again this week, like everything very slow, just very slow. And every single day, we ended up being early for things by moving slow. Like
Right.
so it I don't think that this card is just about like um quickness. It's about rhythm as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
And so we have another rhythm in this house, and that rhythm really works for us. My daughters start their school day with regulated nervous systems. I start work feeling really present in my body. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. I mean, there's so many times when, like, when you think you don't have enough time to do something, or like, let's just say meditate, but you take the time to meditate or to do what really is nurturing to you or regulates your body or is the routine you're trying to cultivate.
Mm,
And then you come out of that and you're like, oh my God, I've gotten so much done today. I have so much time. That, because it's like everything flows. And I think rhythm, yeah, that's great, great, great word and
mhm.
expression.
Yeah, which is what the card is about, right? The card is about rhythm as much as it is about movement, right?
Yeah.
I move forward with ease and joy in perfect rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was saying what I said, it's not, it is about rhythm, and acting, in that manner to me is jumping into the natural rhythm of hearing and listening and knowing, as opposed to thinking it through. Not that you shouldn't think things through, but I'm just saying, for me, there's a knowing that happens in before I ponder, generally. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's a great card, and I love it. Things are, but then what you said was things are happening quickly, and it's time to act. I love time to act, whatever that means. Even if it's time to act, and that means to slow down, it's it's a directive. So our directive is to come back here after we have a few brief words from our sponsors, and we are going to celebrate Black History Month. And I'm very excited to share things with you. So come right back here after these words from New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network. New Thought Media Network proudly presents the Science of Mind Saturday Conversations. Learn more about the Science of Mind philosophy, faith, and way of life. Join our team of experts for a weekly deep dive discussion. Come study the science of mind, chapter by chapter, and resources from the Science of Mind archives. Plan to join us every Saturday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on the New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
So welcome back, beautiful souls, to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Oh, I'm Robin Rice Olmsted.
I'm Dr. Natasha Wilson. over here in Australia,
Yeah.
behaving metaphysically.
Yep. And I'm on the other side of the world in the desert of New Mexico. Anyways, welcome back. This is where we explore consciousness and community and just the magic of being alive on purpose. So
Mhm.
today we're honoring a lineage of Black brilliance, courage, creativity, and spiritual power. And we're going to just take some time to connect and talk about who's inspired us. And, we're lifting up all the inventors and advocates and artists and athletes and politicians and thinkers and dreamers and the people who really bent reality with their imagination and really insisted on a world that could hold their full humanity. So, this is about, well, for Natasha and I, it's about our spiritual inheritance and our lineage. And for all of us, it's about our spiritual inheritance, I guess. And just a reminder that every breakthrough and truly every act of courage, and whether it is a note sung or a protest march or an equation solved or a boundary crossed, whatever, all of it becomes a doorway for us. So today we're just going to walk through those doorways with gratitude and curiosity and breathe into that legacy and honor the shoulders on which we stand and remember that we are a part too also of this unfolding story.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I just have to say, when we started talking about this, I was like, okay, I really want to sit down and just be and think about all the people that have inspired me. And so at some point during the week, I did very like the last minute, but I did it. And I sat down and I was like, okay. And I at first I was like, naming these people. And at one point, after putting them all down, I just was like, oh my God, I couldn't stop. It was like there were so many people and so many things. And so what I sent you, because she got an email right before we started, was just kind of a outline of headings, because there's so many different categories of where people fall. So I thought maybe we could go by categories a little bit. And of course, obviously, if we veer from that, that's fine. But just so we keep kind of the chunks together. And I don't know, we may have to continue next week because there's way too many people. That's all I can say from me.
Yeah.
So my categories, I think, I don't have that list in front of me, but I think it's like advocates, artists, inventors, athletes, politicians, cultural icons, and STEM leaders.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Yep. And do you have particular people that rose immediately to the surface?
I do. So what category do you want to start with? It's like a game show. Spin the wheel. What category?
Okay. Read the categories.
Advocates, politicians. I don't know now. Wait, artists, advocates, inventors, politicians, athletes, STEM leaders, and cultural icons.
Okay. So I know for me, I am moved to talk about people who are or have been advocates, politicians, and cultural leaders.
Okay, you only pick one category because
only one? Okay.
We're starting with one. So let's start with advocates, which include like civil rights leaders or whoever. So
okay, fine. The two people that like sort of came to me can fit into any of these categories, maybe not athletes, but they could fit into any of the three categories that I just named, now that I understand how the game is actually being played.
We get to make it up as we go, but yeah.
So I think the first person that came up for me was Queen Nzinga of Angola. Right. She was one of the few queens who defeated the Portuguese. And not only did she defeat the Portuguese and run them out of Angola, she also led an army that had a whole female regiment and battalion. There was also a male one as well. And they were very well known. The Agoji, I think there was a movie was made about it called The Woman King. And yeah, I'm just thinking, when I think about Black history, I feel like okay. Let me say this quickly. So the anthropologist in me wants to say this. Racial categories, right? Black, white, brown, yellow.
We know how you feel about that, yes.
It's not about my feelings. This isn't about my feelings.
Okay.
It is about the need to continue to find a way to name that this was created. These categories were created by people from Europe, right? To justify oppressing, extracting from the people they gave these titles to. Important. So they came from the minds of Europeans, these ideas about race. We know it's not true because when we think about race, the way they put it out there, or the way that they defined race, it would mean that two people from different races could not come together and produce a viable offspring. So we know that just on a biological level, it's just not true. And we have to also simultaneously name the fallout or the consequences of this system, this constructed system. So that means we have to deal with racism. And so even as I'm talking about Black history, I'm trying to hold that tension. Yeah. We need Black history because of racism, because of the fallout of the people who created these categories. So I just want to say that, because Queen Nzinga would have never thought of herself as Black or anything else, right? She was just the fucking queen. Those categories were placed on her. So she's the one who came to mind first for me, was Queen Nzinga.
Okay. Well, for me, the first ones I thought of were the obvious ones, like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and those ones. And then as I sat with it for a little while, well, my mind was all over the place. It goes all over the place. That's what it does. I thought of some people that I think, like, I thought of John Lewis, first of all, who's a congressman, and many of you may know that, and one of the freedom riders, and marched with Martin Luther King, and I just love his philosophy of good trouble, and and then so that came to me, which of course brought up Reverend Jesse Jackson, may he rest in peace, a civil rights leader and just an advocate for so much for voting rights, for economic justice, for
Mm,
global and human rights. And
mm, mm,
as I was sitting with it, it just was so. Um, I don't know. I want to say, especially in the times we're living in now, it became so interesting to really think just about what it must have taken to do this and to stand for something,
mm,
you know, with brown skin, and when that wasn't a popular thing, you know.
mm, mm,
And so somehow I just feel like I felt, the courage and the faith and the pain and the struggle and all of those things around that. Um,
mm, mm,
yeah, and then I thought about people too, like that. I put this category. I put Trevor Noah in this category. Who, if you don't know, those of you that don't know, is a comedian and a commentator, and used to have late night talk show, and I think that those are he represents those that can hear the global perspective and bring clarity to issues like race and human rights and democracy
mm,
through the balance of humor and realism.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I also thought about Howard Thurman,
Mm,
who's a mystic and a theologian and a spiritual mentor to the civil rights movement. That
mhm,
he wrote about inner freedom and
mm,
really helped to shape Dr. King and those that were out there on the front lines, and really have them embody their oneness, their knowing that they were moving in that direction of love and equality, and those qualities that are what we stand for. you
yeah.
know
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think when I saw the assignment, my brain went like into ancient history, not ancient. It went way, way back, right? Because Black history did not just start with
Yeah.
our time in the United States. It didn't just start with slavery. It's why I went to Queen Nzinga, and because she did something that was unique amongst African countries, right? Not only, like I said, did she kick the Portuguese out, but she did it with a female battalion of like warriors. Um, and I think the other person that comes up for me is Toussaint Louverture. So he's the one who led the rebellion to kick out the French, to create what is now Haiti. And when you read about like what led up to that, like what was inspiring, it was like the community had gone into deep practices around their native spirituality that they brought with them to Haiti. And on the back of those celebrations, those spiritual honoring, they beat the French. So much so that Napoleon lost his mind because, like, literally, he believed that, and a lot of people during this time, like, what blew his mind, there's a great book about this too. What really blew his mind was they want to be free. Like somewhere in that cosmology, right? That white supremacist cosmology was this belief that human beings who they call Black actually want to be enslaved. So I thought about Toussaint Louverture, and I thought about all the people around him and the community practicing their rhythm and their songs, carrying the messages of liberation through the drum beats, and something really profound happened. And literally, it was after that, right? Like after they beat Napoleon and kicked out the French, Napoleon was so stressed. That is what led to the Louisiana Purchase, right? Because it was like, I don't want to deal with this no more, right? So, so I thought about Zinga, I thought about Toussaint Louverture, and then I thought about someone named William Still. So he was born, I believe, in 1821. So he was born into slavery, and I don't remember the full story about how he became. I think he escaped. Yes, that's right. He escaped, and he actually escaped with his mother. And his mother could not get all of her children, so she actually went back and got more of her children and brought them north to Philadelphia. And around, I think it was like 1847, he was involved with the Philadelphia Society for Freedom, and so a big part of the Underground Railroad. But what he did that was so important and so unique is that when his mother and Harriet Tubman, for that matter, were bringing people to the North, he was recording their names as they remembered them, so that he was able to help people be reunited.
That's great.
So beautiful. When I think about that in the context of what we're living through now with like kids being separated from their parents and they're being detained, like to have someone focus on getting people reunited with their family. And it just goes to show like that this beauty, compassion, and connective way of thinking exists in us as a species. And yeah, because of him, a lot of people got to see their mom again, or their dad, or their brother, or their sister, or their auntie. And it's just profound. People doing extraordinary things under the most horrible conditions.
Yep.
Yeah. Say his name, William Still.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, you can use that description for today. People doing extraordinary things under excruciating conditions.
We always have.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, Harriet Tubman came up for me as well. And, you know, and a name that people don't know as much. Do you know Claudette Colvin? Do you know that name?
No.
So Claudette Colvin is a 15-year-old, and she refused to give up her seat on the bus months before Rosa Parks. You know, and she was a youthful advocate that whose courage helped spark a movement. And you know, for those of you that don't know, spoiler alert, the Rosa Parks incident was staged in some ways, so that, you know, for that reason though, but it was not in a bad way, but in a way that made the papers, that made the news, that made the, you know, and Claudette Colvin was the one who really did it for real first as a kid and made that movement happen, is the story that I've heard anyway.
All right.
Yeah, there's so many people that, you know, I don't know, we could do hours on this. But yeah, that's a good overview of advocates and things. Let's go to politics.
Okay.
And let me see. We only have a few more. We have about 12 more minutes, more or less. So let's see if we can get to politics and maybe a little culture, because that'll bring us up. So political. Who do you want to talk about politically?
I don't have anyone right off. maybe Ilhan Omar. Yeah, I I saw this news clip a couple weeks ago with her where someone tried to like attack her at a town hall.
Mm.
And not only did she not like run away, like she ran towards the person, you know.
Right.
You know, I was like, I like that. You know, it's just like you're not going to like
Back down.
exactly like we're not afraid of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it may be Ilhan Omar in terms of the political realm.
So what came up for me, I mean, there's a lot of people, but what came up, one of the ones that came up for me was Shirley Chisholm. Because I remember being a little girl and when she ran for president, you know, and like the first Black woman that was elected to Congress and she ran for president. And it was like so beyond the beyond at that time because it was like the 70s, right? You know, and it was, I don't know. I just think, and I think it especially takes courage when you know you're not going to win. You know, when you're really just out there doing what is the next step.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not thinking about consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, or we are thinking about consequences. And so even when you mentioned Rosa Parks and it was like stage, like that was a consequence, right? So having Shirley Chisholm like just get into the American imagination, right?
Yeah.
Was a consequence. A consequence.
Well, it was a setup, you know. I mean, it's like bringing it down and just doing what you know is right in the moment because it is. It's the right thing to do. I don't know. There's a lot of people in politics like that I could talk about. You know, I mean, there's the obvious people like Barack and Michelle and you know, and what they've done for just opening people's eyes. And then nowadays, I am a big Jasmine Crockett fan.
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
How could I forget her?
I'm like, girl. I mean, I have to keep her in my prayers because, you know, but seriously, she is some good trouble. You know,
Yes,
like,
yes.
Oh, girl, you know. So I love that.
Unapologetic. I love it. Yes.
Yeah. And then there's people like, you know, Van Jones and Hakeem Jeffries. And I watched last night Governor Westmore in Maryland. And, you know, just this back and forth thing with the president uninviting him or not inviting him to the governor dinner and like to balance just to watch people stand in their integrity and speak so smartly as opposed to firing back. And just you can just see what they stand for. So yeah, current people like that, like Westmore, Keisha Lance Bottoms, and I love Van Jones. I've loved Van Jones since I don't know when, since before he was political.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have many in that category, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. All right, well let's go cultural with our last 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay. Let's go cultural. I think for me, it's probably Josephine Baker.
Good one.
Like I just love everything about her sort of eccentricness. What is that word though? But her eccentricity. Ugh. Okay, got it out finally. Anyways, I also just loved how she didn't let her body be policed, and she fully inhabited her body as a dancer. And, during, Black respectability has always been a thing that has dogged us, especially Black women. She did her art in the nude. She moved to France. She was lovers with Frida Kahlo. She adopted children across the racial spectrum, right? She was a trendsetter. And
Dance to her own beat.
I love her. It's like, it's almost like I love my life. And like, if I had to sort of look at a life that I look up to, it would be that one. It would be her life.
Yeah, that's very artsy. I could see that being your life. It's very creative. I think for me, again, being an actor and a creative person, there's so many, but two that come to mind for me are, off the top, are Quincy Jones and Ella Fitzgerald. And not only because of their talent and their creativity and what they brought to the world, but they were really, they were advocates, they were cultural architects, they're humanitarians. I think that Quincy Jones not only has advocated in public for racial equality and global famine relief and all kinds of youth and arts and educations and all those things, but he's also been a mentor for generations to different artists and Black artists, and just there's so much he's done besides what he's done as a career just in the world. And I think the same for Ella Fitzgerald. I think that she was an artist that was, in her time, she was quiet, but she was powerful. And she did things like refuse to perform in segregated venues. And, she was someone who broke barriers in the music industry, racial barriers. And I think she used her platform to challenge discrimination and really just was persistent and did it with grace and that kind of determination.
Yeah.
You
go
ahead.
Keep going. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I was just going to say, you saying Ella Fitzgerald is really making me think about how I grew up listening to Billie Holiday. And, well, actually, my great grandma listened to Billie Holiday, and I listened to Billie Holiday because my great grandma did. And I just remember it was like the first time I had experienced music that made my soul do something. I can't explain it, right? It was like there was this something in her voice, and I just remember crying, and and then later in life, I kind of in the realm of sort of like Josephine Baker, I learned about the music of Ma Rainey, who, because of her, people like Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald had a stage.
Yes.
And she was one of those Black women who leaned into her sexuality, not away from it. Right. And I think that really matters for women in general, and especially for Black women, to inhabit the fullness of our bodies and our sexuality without shame, knowing that that our bodies, our sexuality were at the heart of what kept slavery alive, right? Because in slavery, a child followed the condition of their mother. So if a mom was a slave, then the baby she gave to was a slave. And so there were times, even after abolition, the slave trade ended, there was a ratcheting up of basically the rape of Black women, right? So that it can keep producing more enslaved people. And to look up to women who were like, no, my body is for me. My body is for my pleasure, and I deserve to enjoy pleasure in my body. I just think that's so powerful.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And there's so much more. There's so much more. But as Natasha said, with the card we pulled, things happen very quickly and our time is up. And so I think we should come back to this next week, because I think there's so much more we can talk about. Because creative people. We've got Michael Jackson and Nina Simone and Harry Belafonte and Beyonce and all these people who, there's activism and there's politics and there's, human platform for culture and uplifting women and social justice and all those things in their music or in their craft. So I think we should continue next week and talk about more, because I haven't even gotten to like the groups of women, like all those women that worked on the computer and all of those.
And why we have GPS, right?
Right. Why we have traffic lights. There's so many things. So
many things.
If you want to know, you need to join us next week as we continue our dive into Black History Month. And once again, just knowing that it really, it's not a month, y'all. It's not a movement.
It's a movement, not a month. It's a movement.
It's a movement. It's a frequency. It's the platform upon which we all stand. So join us next week, and we'll talk about more advocates and trailblazers and people that help change this country. And in the meantime, we honor you, and just find that balance in your life, because things are happening quickly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
What'd you say?
Y'all would not be having peanut butter and jelly. Black folks.
It's true. True, you wouldn't have peanut butter. So tune in next week and find out how lucky you really are. All right. We love y'all.
Peace and blessings.
Bye.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought, Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Ohm Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.